Hello, and welcome to another episode of Time to Conquer. I am your host, Mia Paul, and I am so grateful that you decided to take a couple moments out of your week to spend some time with me today as we dive into and help you move past some of the roadblocks you may be experiencing as you start or continue on your transformation and evolution into the person you are meant to be. Now, last week we did a deep dive into 5 steps that you can take to start to tune out that noise that is constantly surrounding us. And based off of your feedback, you loved it. I am so glad to be able to bring such value to you. And even though most of our episodes may not be that long, I think it was important to start with that, because while the journey of transformation and while the journey of taking control does not come easy, it is definitely worth it. But you need to get a full picture of the work you're about to put in. Based off of some of the questions I received in my inbox after you have listened to that episode, I can tell that we needed to touch a little bit more on step number 1 that we shared last week, figuring out whose opinions matter to you and tuning out the rest. Some of the questions I received, it was very obvious to tell who has started their journey and who is thinking about their journey. And there's no right or wrong here, but it was obvious and easy for me to be able to tell the difference, because once you start, it will quickly become evident to you who is in your corner and who has your best interest at heart. So while you're sitting there thinking about who is there for you and who will be able to support you as you continue or start your journey, you will overthink it. That's the main point I got from the messages I received. Some of us are overthinking it. We have a concern that when we talk about raising the standards for those that we allow in our lives, that all of a sudden we need to start expecting perfection. Not only is perfection unattainable, it is not nearly even close to what our goal is when we're evaluating who we will allow in our lives and who we need to take a break from. Perfection means they're not going to mess up. We're human, we mess up, so how could we expect somebody in our lives to be perfect? It's not what we're going for. Instead, we are looking for people who want to support us, who love us as we are and want to push us to become better. I shared on my Instagram this past week a quote that really seemed to resonate with you all, and this was the quote. Those who spend their time highlighting the flaws in others usually spend the least amount of time fixing their own. And I feel like that really shows exactly what we're looking for when we talk about a supportive circle around us that we can trust and who will help us become better. We don't want anybody whose only job is to sit there and nitpick our flaws. We don't want anybody who thinks that they're perfect and that everybody needs to get on their level. Instead, the most supportive people are the ones around you also working on improving their lives. I've met a lot of really successful people in my 6 years as a life coach, and I have never met one who judges others for beginning a journey of transformation. I have never met a person who I view as wildly successful, whether it's financially successful or in terms of the person they are, the mentor they are, who looks at people beginning their journey and looks down on them. All of the successful people I've ever met are not only kind and gentle and supportive people, they are people that are willing to accept you on whatever part of your journey you are on and then push you out of your comfort zone to get to the next part of your journey. Sometimes when we think about those around us and we reevaluate the circle we have, We put the time that we have known these people as the most important part of why they deserve our friendship. In reality, time means nothing. Not really. I mean, it could be a small part, I guess. We'll give it a 0.1%. But I have friends that I have met in the past 6 months that have been better friends and more supportive to me than people I've known my whole life. And that also has to do with family members. Sometimes we have this guilt. Well, family's family. And because they're our family, we have to let them be around us. We have to let their opinion matter to us. Time of friendship, time of relationship means nothing, or at least is not nearly as important as effort in that relationship. I heard on Instagram, Trent Shelton went live, and his message really resonated with me and ties so well into what I'm sharing with you today. He said, you need to stop being loyal to people who are not loyal to you. And that is what I've been preaching for 6 years to my life coaching clients. Sometimes we care more about the feelings of others than they care about ours. And it becomes really evident when we come into times of need, whether we need something from them and they disappear and they ghost and we can't even get in contact with them. But then all of a sudden, they are in a position of need. They are in a hard struggle and they're blowing our phone up because they know that we have some value to give to them. And that's the only time they think of us. Is that somebody you really want in your life, even if you've known them for years and years and years? Not really. Not if you're committed to transforming. Not if you're committed to this evolution into a better person. When you level up, you will know who's there to help you take that next step. And you will see and sometimes feel the emotions of those who only want to be that anchor to hold you back. I'm sure you've heard the quote, you will become just like the 5 people you spend the most time with. You can be on any social media platform and that will pop up somewhere. And that's true. But in the age of social media, in this digital world we live in, I think we need to tweak that quote a little bit. You will become like the 10, 15 handful of people that you consume the most. You can be sitting on your couch scrolling through Instagram. You can be constantly adding value to your brain by listening to podcasts, or you can be watching reality TV. There's no right or wrong there, but depending on what your goals are and where you're trying to go in the future, I bet you already know what steps you need to be taking. And if we live in a world where maybe we're not around physically 5 people on a constant or daily basis, but you can surely bet you are consuming the thoughts and opinions of others way more than we ever could be physically around them. Nowadays, it's more or less you will either raise to the standards of the people whose information and opinions you share and consume, or you will lower the bar, maybe without even realizing it, because they will constantly be flooding your brain with the negativity and judgments and opinions that really don't add anything to your life. When you are confident of the person you are becoming, or the confident to what you bring to the table, you can be confident in the standards you set for others. Sometimes you think of standards as a bad thing. Like if you set these standards and this person you're talking to, this person you have this relationship with can't hit them, well, then you'll lose them. But that's the point of setting those standards, because you need to have those people around you who are constantly there for you in a loving and caring way. I was on a training call earlier this week, and I heard something that at first made me stop and kind of say like, whoa, what did he just say? But then as he explained it, it made so much sense. On this training call, he said Jesus was the best salesman in the world. And it took me a moment to just say, Jesus, like, he wasn't selling anything. He didn't have a weight loss program or a consulting course he was trying to get people's money from. But as the speaker continued on with his message, he shared that Jesus was the best salesperson in the world because he was able to change people's lives, give them sometimes some tough love or grace, and either way, they were able to accept it because they felt in their soul that he was coming from a place of kindness and love. Now, if you have an aversion to sales, you might think of salespeople as those cheesy used car dealership employees. What are they called? You may think of salesmen as those used car salesmen. But if you think of sales as an act of service to provide a solution to a problem that somebody you know and love has, then that takes away that moment of, what? Jesus, what? And even if you aren't religious or you don't have a strong connection to any sort of faith, or you have a different faith that doesn't involve Jesus, I think we can all pretty much agree on the fact that he did a good job of getting his message out. And there were moments of tough love that people accepted that tough love because they knew he wasn't doing it to hurt their feelings. He wasn't doing it to belittle or he wasn't doing it to belittle them. He was doing it to push them to become better. And when you look around at the circle you have, those are the type of people you need to have. People who constantly push you out of your comfort zone. People who constantly remind you what you could be capable of if you put the work in. Now, the people around you are not able to do the work for you. And I think we all know that. There's no such thing as a quick fix. There's no sitting back and watching your life transform while others do it for you. You are in it here and you have to put in that work. But the people around you will make it easier. Motivation is fleeting. Nobody has constant motivation. What the most successful people in the world have are groups around them that are constantly reminding them what they're pushing for, who check in on them when they haven't heard from them in a while, who think of them on a daily basis, or they hear a podcast that they know that they would find some value in. They see a funny quote that they want to share because it'll make you laugh. Those are the people. Those are the relationships you want to put effort into, foster, and allow to grow. It comes down to one major point. A lot of the times we are afraid of being alone. I know at one point of my life, I was willing to accept basically any friendship as long as they promised to be my friend. But as you start to change, as you start to reevaluate those around you, you'll see that sometimes being alone is better than being constantly torn down. I would rather sit in this office all by myself, listening to strangers on the internet, helping me, reminding me, pushing me to be better, than go to an old friend that I've known my whole life that every time I'm around them, they have something bad about me or another person to say. I think we can all probably think of at least one friend that every time we're around them, they're talking about somebody else or gossiping or, did you hear so-and-so did XYZ? The truth is, if they're saying that to you, they will also be saying that about you. And it's hard to open up. It's hard to share secrets. It's hard to be vulnerable of where you are and where you want to be if you can't trust those people to, one, keep those secrets close, or two, that they're going to turn around and talk about it behind your back to other people and laugh about you and cut you down. Stop thinking that you need people. Truth is, you're in charge. You are in control. You can pick and choose the people around you that you put in effort and give your time. You will see very quickly who deserves the best of you. And it is your job to deposit into those relationships, so when hard times come, or you're struggling, or you just need an ear to listen, you can make those withdrawals without having to wonder, what are they going to say about me? Oh, who are they going to tell this to? Are they going to make fun of me for this later when they're mad at me and want to jab and hurt my feelings? If you have those people around you, you need to let them go. If you're not in the place of being able to let them go, you need to just take a break. The social media world we live in has its pros and its cons. One of the cons is anyone you allow to share their opinions, share their statuses, share their photos, their life experiences with you, you let them in. If you have them on your feed, if you follow them, you're going to see whatever they put out there. The pro is if you allow them into your life, if you have them in your feed, if you check in on their posts and their stories and listen to their podcasts on a regular basis and it's good, you will have that in your life. We are no longer in a time where moms who are stuck at home feeling like they lost themselves can't find friends or have to go to the park and risk trying to be friendly with somebody just to have them give them the cold shoulder. We are no longer in a world where dads need to feel like the only thing that they're valuable for is making money and having a job and providing and coming home and not being able to have any friends that they can connect with or can share their struggles. That's not reality anymore. This is 2020. Even if you have a job outside of your home, you're probably not even going to it right now. Even if you use the gym as your outlet, maybe you're able to go to the gym, but you're wearing a mask and you can't see that stranger smiling at you or giving you a thumbs up because everyone is focused on why they're there and what they're doing alone. We are in a time where you can find anybody that you want to include in your circle. We are in a time where there are endless amounts of people willing to be that person for you, to support you, to give you that love if you are willing to receive it. So when you think about taking control and you are evaluating and auditing the circle that's around you, just remember one thing. You are in control. There is nothing you have to tolerate if it is not serving you. And if you don't have those people who are focused on growth, focused on health, wanting to be a better spouse, friend, person, you can find them. You are not alone. And every week I hope to be somebody that you can tune into and for one short moment of your day, remember that there are people out here that don't need to know you, that don't need to know your whole story, but want to help you succeed. And I am absolutely one of those people. I hope that this short We're getting better. I hope that this short little message has resonated with you in some way. If it has, please make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Find me on Instagram. Share the tidbit that really landed with you and let me know that you're out there and listening and what you need me to help you with. Because if you put it out there, I will scoop it up and absolutely run with it. My friends, this has been a great 20 minutes and thank you for tuning in. I truly hope that next week you will choose to spend a couple more moments with me as I promise to be someone that will show up, absolutely be here for you, and I want to help you grow. I hope you have a good week. Thanks for tuning in.